Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Shanna. I am a full-time reseller. My husband, he helps me, so I consider him part-time, full-time because as most of you know, when you do this type of business, it's never fully part-time. It's a full-time job. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We're very happy that you're here today. This is Picking and Thrifting. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We do try to put out a lot of information that's very helpful to those that are just now getting into reselling, or maybe you are a veteran into reselling and you just like watching other people's content to see what they pick up. So it's been a while since I've done a what sold video. I've been trying to focus a little bit on my sourcing trips because as for myself, I like to watch people in their sourcing trips because they might be looking at things that I just don't think to look at. And I'm trying to capture a little bit more of that just so I can share with you guys. Sometimes too, I might miss something and you might pick it up. So leave me a comment if there's something that I missed, because that's how I learn. I learn through mistakes. I learn through wins. And today I'm just going to share with you a little bit of what has sold yesterday. Also go over my June numbers. So I skipped May numbers. The main reason why is I felt like the numbers were very skewed because we did have storage unit that went into that, and also someone had given us a bunch of stuff at no cost. So there was a lot of stuff like that mixed in where I felt like it would skew cost of goods versus profit to get my total. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just do this every other month. And that's what I did. So in June, our gross sales, meaning what we sold, fees and shipping included in that cost, was $14,436.91. Not bad for June. As everybody talks about, summer slowdown is a thing. We've had a couple days where we might have had one or two sales, and we just have to continue to encourage ourselves that that's okay. It's going to happen. This gives us the opportunity to focus in on things like working on our inventory or taking a look at some of our listings just to see if we need to refresh them, because if we made them 2 years ago, we were at a different part of our reselling life. We thought differently. And the things that we know now, based off what we've learned through the time, we may title it different. We may price it different. Prices change. So these moments, yes, they're slower, but it does give you that opportunity to just kind of take a seat, look at your store, and just try to go in and make some refreshments. As far as those sales net, which meaning after shipping and after fees are taken out, we netted $11,000, $672.34. Not too bad. So I'm very happy with that. Cost of goods for the month of June, that ended up being $1,416.93. So if I took my net, took out the cost of goods, my total profit for the month was $10,255.41. So I'm pretty happy with that. Again, it is a slower month, so I will take what I can get. So let me show you a couple of things that we did sell yesterday. This one's kind of fun. This was from an estate sale that we went to. We were invited to come in before the sale. So private pick, super awesome. And this Jar Jar, I think Binks mask was there. It's pretty big. We sold this for $42.95, so not too bad. I would put it on just to show you how it looks on, but I might mess up my hair. Why would I want to do that? Just kidding. All right. So out of that gross sale, net sale, we had 352 orders that went out last month. So we were definitely working hard. So most of those orders obviously landed on the weekend. So I typically take between 40 and 50 packages to USPS on Monday, whereas through the week it's 10 to 12 packages, so it's not as much of a haul that I take to them, but overall, $352 for the month, I'm happy with. The downside is when you look at the store analytics, it does say that my sales were down 14.4%. And if I'm not mistaken, they take that calculation based off of what I did, I think, the month prior. I could be wrong. I'm going to look further into that so I can put the correction up if it needs to be corrected. This right here, this REI shirt, new with tags. It's a really nice plaid print. Use those keywords: granola, hiking, outdoor, with items like this. This sold for $27.95. This up out of an estate sale private pick a year ago, February. So yes, this sat in the store for quite some time. However, the wait was worth it. What I'm going to try to do is pull some footage from that private pick, because this house was slam packed with goods. I felt, holy Moses, this is so sad. Wow. How in the world will you get through all of this stuff? Oh my. Man, oh man. And the house is already a pretty large house. And then you add all of this stuff on top of it. Wow. This is crazy. Wow. There's no telling what is in here. Yes, please. Tugboat tutor. And the saxophone. It's a bubble maker. Wow. I guess this is... I'm not sure. He's pretty cute though. Not sure. A drum. That's cute. Little pipes. Wow. We didn't even make it down here. And we've been here for since 11. 4 hours. If that tells you anything about yes please, what all we've encountered just going through what we've seen. I felt like the person probably had a little bit of shopping problem. When I was in the house, I went straight to the master bedroom closet, and I probably was in that closet for a good 2 hours going through bags. And when I say bags, I mean they had a bag that had other bags in it, and those bags had bags in it. And there were so many things that still had tags on it, had never seen the light of day since they were purchased. They literally had Christmas and birthday presents that were packaged, or I should say wrapped up, from the 90s in one of the spare bedroom closets, that when Shane was going through those items, he literally was unwrapping the gifts to see what it was. So it was a super crazy haul. We are continuing to sell things from that haul. And those are the type of sourcing trips I love. I love to dig. I love to try to discover what is there, because to me, there's nothing more fun than that. Some people, it's not their jam, and I get it. I'm okay with that, but that's one of my jams. Also sold some Crocs. These are considered the Swifter Wave Crocs. I believe they're size 7, and these sold for $22.88. I love to pick up Crocs. My opinion is Crocs, they're super comfortable shoes. However, if you've ever been in a Crocs store, even if it's a Crocs outlet store, their prices at retail are not comfortable. I walked in there just for fun one time when we were in an outlet mall, and I was like, oh, let me see what Crocs are going for now. I about fell on the floor. A pair of Crocs, just because they were cute and Disney affiliated, were like $90. And I'm like, I will wait for the secondhand market to get my hands on some of those, because I just can't justify paying $90 at retail. That's just me. Maybe I've been a thrifter for too long, because I was a big time thrifter before I decided to go into the reselling. I just can't justify that, but that's just me. So I'm happy for that person. They're going to love them. Those are going out today. Going back to the June, I did record that our average price per order going out was $41.75. So happy with that. That is one piece of the pie that I want to continue to increase, is my average price per item, because that will help increase what I consider the value of my store. Of all the 352 orders, we also had 9 repeat buyers. So I'm excited with that, because if I'm not mistaken, last time I think we had maybe 2 or 3, and that was one of the fields that I wanted to try to increase, and it went to 9. So very excited about that. So June numbers, again, it's a slow month, but I'm happy with the results. So now that we're into July, I'm hoping that I can make it a goal to have a total profit that maybe 12,000. I don't know. We'll see how we land. Next item that I'm going to package up, this Wii game, CSI Crime Scene. This sold for $6.95. Not a super big sale, but there's a backstory to this sale. This is part of the storage unit haul that we had. I want to say it was May. The 30 by 10. I can't even remember what size the unit was. It was so big. If you haven't seen it, we do have the videos posted of us going through that storage unit. One thing you can't forget about the storage unit is it had about 10 Christmas trees in there. So I ended up giving away 9 of those 10 Christmas trees to a friend. They said they wanted them, and I was so happy. I said, come and get them, because at this point, I just don't want to see an artificial tree again. Anyway, that $6.95 goes towards the total of what we've sold so far from that unit. So roughly what we've sold so far is $1,642. So we're short about $357 from our costs going into that unit. The bright light about that is I am now pulling all the spooky towns, and I am inspecting them, starting to picture them, and I'm starting to post them. I'm hoping that the spooky towns will perform like I'm hoping that they do. They are pretty much all vintage. They were all 2006 or older, and there were some really cool ones, like some pirate ship ones. The ones that I was working on yesterday, I'd plug them in, making sure that they ran, and they were so cool. I really wanted to keep a few and put them around the house, but I know that's not a good idea. I need to start making some money off of them. So if you do look or follow our eBay page, which is reclaimtreasures_23, you'll start seeing those go up. And there might be one that you're looking for your collection. I might have it. So just kind of keep that top of mind. This right here is a 2-piece set. I put this together as a two-piece set because I got both pieces out of the same estate sale. So this is vintage Ralph Lauren. It's just a little makeup travel organizer. That's like a plastic. I'm just trying to shape it a little bit for you. These two together sold for $26.88. So if you looked at my cost of goods going into that haul for that estate sale, I mean, I probably paid 50 cents or $1 per, and to sell them for 26, I'm excited about that. Next item. Now this, I honestly can't tell you where this was picked up. A big reason behind that is because one of the things that Shane picked up. So if he were here, he would be able to tell you. It's a Casio. We have the manual that goes with it. This is the FX-700 GA calculator. This item sold for $29.95. Knowing Shane, he probably did not pay more than $5 for this because he does try to keep his cost of good pretty low, with the exception of items that perform extremely well. There are some items that we will pay up for. We always talk about those items just to make sure that we're both on the same page. I'm pretty sure he didn't pay too much for that item. And that's going out today. So just wanted to check in also with you guys and just see how your stores are going. Are things slowing down for you? Are you seeing a little bit of an increase as we're starting to gear back into the kids going back to school and vacations are over? How are things going? What do you feel about your store's activity? Do you feel like, there's room for improvement, or do you feel like things are going well? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I'm just curious. I'm also curious to what you've been selling over the summer, because everybody has different things that they pick up and sell. And I'm curious to know what you're selling out there. So share with me. All right, so what I'm trying to do is set this with a little tiny background so you can see it better. I more than likely will end up just putting up a picture of it so you can see it, because it's just so, so beautiful. So I got a pair of these earrings. These are sterling silver dangle earrings. They have a little bit of a hoop action. And they were signed. They were signed Feeney Sterling. So pretty. It's hard to let these go because I thought they were absolutely beautiful. If I know myself, I would probably wear them one time and then they go in the jewelry box. And I thought, you know what? I need to get these out to somebody who's going to love them just as much as I do, but actually wear them. Those sold on an offer for $225, so I was super excited. That came out of a recent jewelry haul that I did. I have an estate sale company that I've been working with. They've been absolutely fantastic, and we put in the offer to buy all the jewelry, sight unseen, for X dollars per pound. I think I ended up with about 30-ish pounds of jewelry. And I'm starting to sell items out of that. So that was one of the great finds. There were some other things that have come out of it that aren't going to bring that much profit, but they're still going to bring profit. So I feel like that was totally worth the buy. When you do buys like that, you do have to consider that it could be a wonderful, profitable buy, or it could be one that's not as great as you want it to be. That's part of the risk, part of the gamble when you do make buys like that. If it's not something that you can do for your store right now, don't do it now. When your store's at a level that you feel like you can make that investment, not knowing the full return, maybe consider it then. This right here, Star Wars. This is Migs Mayfeld, and I probably mispronounced it. And if you can't see it, I kind of squinted because I'm trying this whole contact thing. And the eye doctor said, try one contact in one eye because one eye is stronger than the other. Because I told him when I had both contacts, I couldn't see my computer. So that's why I'm kind of looking funny when I look at stuff. But this sold for $12.95. This came out of a big buy that Shane made from someone off of Facebook Marketplace. Were selling off a lot of their 90s figurines. We had Star Wars, Transformers. We picked up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we got all of these figurines. Some of them are not performing as well as others. This one kind of fell in the in-between because if I'm not mistaken, our cost of good per item was roughly $6. So this one will profit us about $6, which that's still good. We still doubled our money. However, if this was the only thing we picked up for $6 and made $6, the time that went into it doesn't make a lot of sense. The overall buy, that will make the sense. So just sharing that little bit of information with you. This one is kind of one of my favorites too because it's so unique to me and it's so much fun. So I have this piece. It's considered art swirl glass. Looks like a big old marble. And sorry, my light's kind of glaring off of it. Came with its little brass stand. I don't know that this one was signed. I picked this up at an estate sale where I got about 3 to 4 paperweights, and there were several of that were signed. I don't know that this one was. Super cool. Anyway, $55. So I'm happy with that too. All right, next I've got Izod Sport Flex pants, new with tags, navy blue in color, $46.30. Izod is one of those brand names that by itself you would look at the numbers and say, that doesn't perform very well. However, I think with most brands, there are some things that are going to perform pretty good. These sold for $24.95. So depending on what the cost of good going into it was, that will help determine if that was a good pickup. Again, this is one that Shane picked up. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the cost of good going into it was. However, we are getting that to its new owner, and I'm very happy to do so. This one right here is a fun one. And I think that I did put a video up when I was out and about this day, and I ended up picking this up because I was out going garage sailing, and Shane had contacted me a couple times through the day saying, hey, go to this estate sale. He'd give me the address and I'd go. Well, this was one of them. Look at this fun mug. So this is a Ping Phelps ugly face mug. He is so cool. So on the bottom, it was signed by the artist. Super fun. Very clean. I love the color, the cobalt blue. This sold for $80. So I got to enjoy him for at least 2 to 3 months, and I'm happy to get him to his new home too. Those ugly face mugs, depending on who the artist is and what age they are, they can perform very well. I'm happy with the $80 offer, and I'm happy to get that out. So now we've got, these are Madewell. These are slip-on flats. And I wanted to say these are size 11, so they're a bigger size. We've had these for a year. So a year from June. Went to a estate sale, and if I'm not mistaken, it was the last day. So everything was half off. However, there was a honey hole of Anthropologie branded clothes and shoes in this house that people just didn't pick up. I don't know if they didn't pick it up because the cost or the price that the estate sale company placed on the items, or if it was they just didn't find them, because I found majority of this stuff in the basement in tubs, and it looked like nobody had opened the tubs up and looked what was inside. If I'm going to an estate sale and there's anything, whether it be a china cabinet, bathroom drawers, I'm going to open it up and look. I'm going to look under the beds. I'm going to look everywhere. because I, more times than not, find hidden treasures when I look. I had about 3 tubs worth of clothes that I had found. Like I said, many were new with tags. Our cost of goods going in was roughly $3 an item. We did end up getting also from this estate sale a Tiffany and Company happy birthday plate that we sold off pretty quickly. We got an amazing sailboat that was pretty big, and it was brass, and it was sitting on a little slab of marble that we sold pretty quick. And I'm still going through some of the clothes, getting some of them sold. I think the person probably worked for Anthropologie and maybe caught a really cool discount, because there were a lot of items that were there that, like I said, new with tags, and I found them and bought them up, and they're still given today. So, I do recommend that when you're out and about and you're on a estate sale, don't be afraid to look in the drawers, pull the cabinets, look under the beds, because you just don't know. There's only so much one person can do as far as an employee of an estate sale. And when it comes to staging for the sale, there's things that get forgotten or missed, and it's not intentional. It's just part of what happens, because sometimes homes are overwhelming. There's some clips of an estate sale that I went to that I posted where this house was packed, and the employees of the sale told me that a lot of the stuff was packed up in the attic. The lady had 4 different attics. It was so packed with dinnerware that they literally posted, "Please no children," because of fear of things getting broke or children getting hurt. And not to mention that they had the first phase of the sale, then they had a week between and had the second phase. I mean, it was crazy. I've been in houses like that. I do help out a local estate sale company who, when he needs some extra help, he'll send me a message and ask if I can go to a certain location and help stage and price. And I've walked into some of those houses and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. They were a collector big time. But as a buyer, those are my favorite to go into. I love going into those. I love seeing what they've collected, what they've picked up through the years, because I know that each piece held some sort of sentimental value to them, but it's just so much fun. So I just want to share with you again some of the items that we had sold recently. I do have another item that I got to go pull from downstairs. It's an item that it holds, or I call it a baseball bat frame. It's got the Braves on it. We sold it through Facebook Marketplace. I got to go pick that up out of our downstairs closet because I got to go meet that buyer. And from there, I'm just going to keep posting. I'm going to keep, checking on my store, see if I can make any kind of updates to titles and listings and pricing, and just keep on keeping on. I'm not going to let this summer slowdown get me down. I'm going to actually take advantage of this time, and I hope that you do too. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you all have a really wonderful rest of the day, and I hope that you're able to stay cool. Because if you know anything about Georgia, the humidity here is a nightmare. You go outside for 3 minutes and you are beating up with sweat, and it's so suffocatingly hot. It's miserable. I had to go to the storage unit and get something out. I thought I was going to die, but I didn't die. I survived it, but it's still tough. So thank you again. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the week, and stay golden.